Hello, friends! It is Nomad Brad coming to you from my box truck. Welcome, welcome, good evening. Welcome to this Wednesday's live chat. Happy to have everybody here. Uh, Drop me a comment in the chat. Let me know how the audio is sounding. I am on my laptop, and so I'm not quite sure what the audio is doing, but just let me know if it's loud and clear. I see we have Diana Saylor in the chat. Hello, Diana. How are you? Kansas City, Missouri. Zane Johnston. Happy Wednesday from North Carolina. Charlie Pepin in the house. Hello, Charlie. Happy to see you. And Will, good evening from Kentucky. 81 degrees, 62% humidity. That sounds hot. That sounds hot. Okay. Wanderer 7 gave me a thumbs up, so I will assume that means the audio is coming through loud and clear. So I am coming to you guys. Mindy Belt coming in from North Carolina. I'm coming to you guys this evening live from a park in California. I am just about 30 minutes 30 minutes west of San Jose, about an hour south of San Francisco. So I'm in the Southern Bay Area. John C in the house. Yo, yo, yo. John C, what's up? How are you? Is your daughter here? Are you making chorizo? What is happening? John C. I know John C was looking at a U-Haul recently. He put in a crazy offer on a rig directly from U-Haul. So I'm curious to hear how that went. Hopefully they made him a deal and he's a U-Haul dad. Matt AK, hello, coming from my apartment in Utah. Matt AK is not in Alaska. No volume, really. Is this no volume for everybody, or is this just Charlie? Let's do a quick audio check. Let me know. Charlie says no volume. Diana says low volume. Okay, let's try this. I'm going to pump up the volume. Haha, not right now. Plan to change that soon. Let me kick up, let's see, this guy. Check, 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 check. Okay, we put the volume up to flat. Check, 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 check. How is that? Does that sound better? Low volume, first timer, low volume. Revo Runner says I'm good. I just pumped the volume up, so let me know if that's good. Steve Wood says volume good. Awesome, happy to hear it. TX Hemi 99 is a first timer. Welcome to the live stream. Happy to see you here. Volume is good. Okay, cool. So we'll go with that. I don't know why the default volume was low, but we got it pumped up the jam. So for today's live stream, we are going to cover some stealth camping stuff. That is like the #1 question that I get asked all the time from people. How do you do it? How do you find spots? I just got a message on Instagram yesterday from a guy asking the same question. How do you find spots? So we're going to go over that, especially for anyone that's like new, first timer, thinking about getting into mobile living. This will be a great video. John C says U-Haul's playing Ghost. Probably didn't like my offer. Daughter's out of state. Just finished chorizo, chicken salad, and veggies for dinner. Happy to see it. John C coming through with the meals. So where I'm at today is I'm at this park. Yo, Dreadhead, what's up? Welcome to the live stream. I'm at this park here in California. And so what I wanted to show you guys is kind of the process that I go through for finding spots. And for me, you know, it's not just about finding a spot to stay the night, but when I'm looking for a place to stay, I want to stay in somewhere exciting. You know, I don't want to just be in a random Walmart parking lot. I don't want to be, you know, just in a commercial street somewhere unless I have to. But the goal is to really find a good parking spot where you're not going to get tickets, no one's going to hassle you, and it's located near something exciting so that hopefully when the daytime comes, you can go explore and have some fun and enjoy the journey. And that's exactly what I did this week. I've never been to San Jose before. I've driven through it, but I've never stayed any amount of time there. And so I was pretty unfamiliar with the area. And so I just went ahead and followed the process. So we'll go ahead and dive into it. I'm going to go ahead and close the live view camera from this park here in California. Very beautiful. The video I'm putting out Sunday is going to have a really nice review of this park that I'm at, some stealth camping stuff. So definitely check out Sunday's video. Okay, let's dive into it. I'm going to turn off the camera view and we'll go to Google Maps. Disconnect this. Disconnect. Okay, cool. And before we dive into that, I'm going to show you guys something really quick. People ask me, let's see, Outdoors Dreadhead, I got all my main components for my solar put together so far. Just got to install it and wire it up. Awesome. Happy to hear it. John C. liked the Burning Man video. Thank you, John C. A lot of people commented, just in general, there was a lot of good feedback on the Burning Man video. You know, the only thing that disappointed me is that I can't monetize it. That's kind of a Burning Man thing. You're not supposed to monetize. I understand. But it's like one of my best performing videos in a long time. It has over 16,000 views. And so it really hurts me that I can't monetize it. But it's all good. That's what we're doing. So one thing I want to show you guys really quick is my internet connection. So people ask me a lot what kind of internet I use. I use Nomad internet, but people want to know, like, does it really work? Is it really that good? And so I'm going to show you guys a quick test. Right now I am broadcasting from Nomad internet connected to my computer, and I'll show you guys why I like Nomad. So this right here, this is my iPhone. It's on the AT&T network, and I'm just using my data connection. And so we're going to go ahead and do a quick speed test. And I want to just show you guys the difference. So you can see my download speed is about 11 megabits per second, which is good. I mean, with 11 megabits, you can stream, you can watch videos. It's not a bad connection. So 11.4 megabits. And then I want to show you guys speed test. We're going to run a speed test on my Nomad internet. And so this runs off the Verizon network, and I'm getting 43 megabits down. So I'm getting 4 times the speed by using my Nomad internet versus my AT&T browsing. So I just wanted to show you guys that. I love Nomad. It works out great. And I just wanted to show you guys, if you're looking for some kind of internet solution, I think Nomad's a great choice. Will's asking about the monthly cost. The monthly cost is $100. It's like $99 per month. Which the main reason I think it's a good value is for people that use a lot of internet. The nice thing about it is that it's unlimited. So it's truly unlimited. I've been using it for almost a year now. I upload all my big 4K YouTube videos, do live streams. I just hammer this thing. And I've never got throttled or reached any kind of capacity limit. So, you know, most cell phone providers, like in my AT&T account, even Mint Mobile, they basically cap you at 40 gigs of data per month. And if you go over 40, even on the unlimited plan, they throttle you down quite a bit. So the nice thing about Nomad, it's unlimited. There's no throttling. And so you can just feel free to use all the internet you need. Okay, enough of the shenanigans. So let me show you guys some stealth camping tricks. So the number one thing that I always do is I like to use Google Maps. And so I'll show you guys exactly what I had going on. I was down here last weekend in San Jose at the fairgrounds, and that's where Tinyfest was. So this past weekend was Tinyfest San Francisco in the Bay Area. Really quick question coming through. Myron Priest, good evening, Nomad Brad. Can you tell me about the Casa Brew espresso machine? Can you give me your option about it? Because yeah, I love it. I still have it. I use it every day, You can see it right back here in the corner. That's my Casa Brew espresso. Yeah, Casa Brews. It works great. It was like 130 bucks on Amazon. I was worried that because it's cheap that it wouldn't be very good quality, but I've had it for I don't know, 4 or 5 months. I use it every day. When I was at Burning Man, I was making coffee for me, my buddy Matt, his wife Muse, and their mom Sarah. So every morning I was making basically 4 cups of coffee, well, plus me, 5 cups of coffee every morning back to back through that espresso machine. And I was a little worried, like, I don't know if it's going to last or if it's going to burn out, but it had zero problems. And I drive around with it on my counter, bungeed to the wall. It bounces and shakes around, and nothing is broken on it. So I think it's a really good value. I definitely recommend it. And if you guys want to know about it, I have a link for it in my Amazon store. I have an Amazon store link, and so you guys can click through there. Let's see, Amazon shop page right here. I'll drop this in the chat, and then I have. Why did it not copy that? Let's see. Hold on. See. That's weird. It won't let me paste. Anyway, it's amazon.com/shop/Nomad Brad. If you go there, I appreciate it. It doesn't cost you anything extra. It kicks me down a very tiny amount of money every month, but it all adds up. What is he saying? Chinese stuff, good quality. Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. I like it. Yo, what's up, Commuter Mike? Happy to see you here. Okay, let's get back on track. So we're doing stealth camping. So what I did is I came into San Jose, unfamiliar with the area. I was going to Tinyfest, and so I came in a few days early, and so I wanted to find a good spot to stay. And so for me, when I am, let me see if I can float this on top. Always on top. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, that works. Okay, cool. So when I come into a town, the main thing I'm looking for is I want a cool spot to stay, and usually I want to be near nature. And so looking at San Jose, you can just see it's kind of just in the middle of the city. There's not much going on. If you go over to the left, then you have the ocean. The ocean was about an hour drive from downtown San Jose. And so I was looking, and the South Bay was a lot closer. It was only about a 30-minute drive. So I decided, hey, let's go ahead and spend some time up near the bay for a couple days, kind of hang out and have some cool nature experiences. Yo, let me see at the chat. Diana Saylor, how can I find tiny home festivals or other vehicle festivals in the U.S.? I tried Googling it. All I get is the ones in California. Yeah, Tinyfest is only on the West Coast. They only have them on the West Coast. I think there's probably stuff in Florida, but that's probably going to be the closest event. Typically, typically for these big type of tiny home events, they try to go places with large population centers, and so that's why California is really popular, and also Florida is really popular as well. They might do something in Texas as well, but yeah, Diana, there's not much going on, unfortunately, in probably Missouri. Outdoors Dreadhead, that was same thing. I was wondering about the built-in wireless on the eco-worthy. Why didn't you use it on the bus build? I think you're asking about the app for that eco-worthy inverter charger, and that app it's old school. It's not very good. It's like old solar. It's old solar mapping software, and so it's like you have to have an actual computer to kind of use it, and it's kind of clunky. You have to have an internet connection. So for most people, I just put on a shunt, and for her I did a Victron shunt, because all most people care about is just to know their battery level. And so the Victron shunt will show you like your battery percentage. and then like how much power is coming in, how much is going out. So for most people, I just use a shunt because there's an easy app and there's no complicated software. I do wish the eco-worthy unit had better monitoring software built in. Okay, so here's what I did. I went to um, I go to Google Maps. I always go to satellite view because that's the easiest, quickest way to locate a place you want to stay. And so the first thing I do is I say, okay, well, I want to be by water. This area looks pretty cool. And as you zoom in on it, you can see there's all these weird, like, colored ponds. And so the water features are just kind of very unique. And so what I try to do when I'm looking for a spot to park is first I look for the area I want to be in and then like an attraction or something I want to do during the day. So I can hopefully spend the night in a location that's close to the attraction I want to go to. That way you're not like driving around, having to drive miles and miles throughout the day. So I zoomed in on Google Maps here on the satellite view. I found this of Alviso Marina County Park. That's where I'm at right now. And I thought, well, that might be a cool place to hang out. It's right by all these weird watercolors. So then the next thing I do to kind of verify if that's a spot I want to go is I click on the listing itself. And so when you do that, then it pops up with a little sidebar menu here in Google, and it gives you some additional information about that location. So I went ahead and I clicked on the photos, and then you can scroll through and just look at the photos and see if that looks like a place you want to spend some time at. And I'm looking through. I mean, they got some pretty sweet, that's a pretty cool photo. It's kind of a cool sunset photo. And so I thought, yeah, that looks like a cool spot. Here's a spot of the colored water. It's a super interesting kind of a red color. So I was like, yeah, that's a cool spot to hang out, spend the day. So I decided, yeah, let's go ahead and stay there or hang out there during the day. So now the next thing in my thought process is, okay, we know we want to stay here during the day. Now let's find a spot that we could stay at night. And then there's a bunch of other, just really quick, a bunch of other info here. There's reviews if you want to read what people say about it. Right here, it tells you it's free. So that's really important when you're looking across different places to visit. If it's like a city or a county or some kind of a federal park, sometimes they will charge you to enter or charge you to park. So that's always something that's nice to look at just to see if they're going to charge you or not and decide if you want to go. And also it tells you like facilities, it tells you they allow dogs, they have bathrooms. So a lot of good info that you can pull right here from Google. So we know we want to visit this during the day. Now let's hop back. Somehow we got out of satellite. Let's hop back to satellite view. And now we want to figure out, well, where is a good spot to stay the night? So the next thing I do is I just kind of zoom in on the area. And traditionally, when it comes to stealth camping, I like to be in commercial or industrial areas just because that's like the easiest, most trouble-free. The streets are usually big and wide. A lot of times there will be commercial vehicles, semi-trucks, and RVs that park in that area anyway. So you won't stand out and you don't really have to worry about, people bothering you. And so the cool thing, if we look back at the map now, you can see here's the park right here, Alviso Marina County Park. And then as we scroll down, there's a little bit of mixed residential, but there's quite a bit of commercial. Like right up here, you can see there's some commercial. And then as we zoom in, the nice thing about the street view, the satellite view, is you can see vehicles on the map. So like I can see right here, there's a couple vans parked here. There's a couple boats up here, just boats on trailers. So this would probably be an okay place to park. However, aesthetically, it's not ideal, right? Like it's kind of just in the middle of industrial. It's not really pretty. If you're a female, I could understand that you might be a little sketched out about staying in a spot like that. So we'll keep it moving and see what else we can come up with. And if we keep going down this State Street right here, you can see there's like a combination where residential mixes with this industrial. So now we're getting into kind of a mixed use area. So we can see right here on this State Street, there's houses on this side, and then on the other side, there is this big empty lot. So this is another spot that you could totally, just stay the evening and probably park on the street right here. And if you're, a female or a little bit concerned about safety, you might be more comfortable here, just because of the fact that there's homes nearby, and so there might be less chances for shenanigans to ensue. Or if you let out a really loud scream, one of these homeowners might hear you. So there's a little more of a safety factor here. So that's something to consider. You might like to stay in a spot like this. But let's keep looking and see if we can find something even better. And let me hop back to the chat. Thea Young, after having lived in my car for a year and a half, a lot of times you'll find somewhere that feels safe and comfortable, and you'll end up returning there a lot unless you're traveling. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Definitely. If you're in a specific area for a while, you'll get kind of a lay of the land, and you might find a spot you'll use for multiple occasions. Nomad King Gamer in the chat says, don't forget to smash that like button on this live stream. I appreciate you, King. King is actually here with me today. For those of you that are channel regulars, me and King were down in San Diego basically all summer, and he is making his way north up to Oregon to meet up with Mark from Wanderbox and Zach to help them on their continue the build out. And so he actually stopped by to see me today, and so we hung out today, took him for a walk, and kind of just made some breakfast and had a good time. So happy to see King Gamer today in the flesh, get reunited with the Nomad homie. Rich says houses aren't stealth camping, aren't stealth living camping. Why should vehicles? I think Rich is asking why should your vehicle be stealth. I say stealth camping just in the sense that I like the idea that you're parking your vehicle at night, and most people that are outside the vehicle don't necessarily assume that there's somebody inside of it. And so just the benefit of that is it just blends in. It looks like a regular vehicle parked on the street, and nobody is going to hassle you. Sometimes, especially in residential, when people know that you're like camping the night in your vehicle, they don't like it. And so they might feel unsafe and think you're going to bother them. I think a lot of people honestly are a little bit jealous of van life, and they're jealous of the fact that we're not paying property taxes, we're not paying rent. And I think, some people just like to try to spoil the fun. And so sometimes in residential, you might have folks that try to call the police or just kind of make trouble for you. So let's continue the search for a spot to stay. We're on Steel Street, and now as we roll down, you can see this is actually State Street. State Street tees off into Spreckles Avenue. Now the cool thing about Spreckles, it's right on the water. It's got a pretty good water view. And now if we zoom in, now we can see there's some RVs. Here's an RV right here, an RV up here. And so this is clearly a spot where there's RVs staying the night. And so you could assume that this is probably a pretty chill spot. You got some RV friends, and probably nobody is hassling you. So you could assume this is a pretty good spot to stay the night. And so that's exactly what I did, is I decided to stay the night on Spreckles Avenue. And I came in from this direction down here. And so as I turned onto Spreckles Avenue, I came in from this side, and I actually found a spot right here. And I'll show you guys one other trick that you can do to try to find stealth camping is Let's see. Can I drag this up a little bit? Here we go. Okay, so this icon on the bottom right of Google Maps, it looks like a little man. And so if you click on him and drag him over to a spot on the street where there's the blue line, it will take you to a street view. And so check that out. Now we can do a 360-degree spin of the area that we're thinking about parking and see what it looks like. And you can see it looks pretty clean. There's not a lot of trash. And what's kind of cool about this area is it is bordering residential, but this is like a side yard. So this isn't like their main entrance. They have a garage down on this side, and then this house here, I think they're facing another street. So it's like you're not right in front of someone's main front door. They're not going to be like seeing you pull up. Also, there's this tall wooden fence right here. So you do have a level of privacy, and also you're in residential street parking. And then right next door, you got some pretty cool little wetland area. And another neat thing about Google Maps is sometimes, let's see if we can read this sign. Sometimes you can read the signs. Look at that. So I zoom in on it. You can see it says no parking 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Tuesday. And so that's another thing you want to keep in mind when you're doing stealth camping is you always want to look for posted signs. Look for signs that say no parking, see what the hours are. And then also if it says like straight up no overnight parking, then, at that point it's going to be park at your own risk, and you'll have to decide if that's something that you want to, risk or not. And so in this case, it's just Tuesday, 9 a.m. to 11. And it's hard to see in this image, but I actually drove there and looked at the sign in person, and it says that's only the first Tuesday of every month, and it's for street sweeping. So that even limits it down that it's really only one Tuesday per month that you can't park there. So based on everything that we have seen, it looks like a pretty good spot. And so that's actually where I parked last night and where King Gamer met me this morning. It turned out to be a pretty good spot. Diana Saylor says, saving to watch later for reference so I can practice finding spots, although I have a schoolie. Yeah, absolutely, Diana. Definitely save this for reference if you like. It's definitely some good info. And yeah, you can reuse this, for whatever city or area that you're in that you might want to try to find some parking. And having the schoolie, you're not going to be quite as stealthy, and you're definitely going to want a lot of window coverings to try to, block out the light, and so people can't see you and, don't know what you're doing inside. But you can still do it in a schoolie. Anywhere, especially where there's big RVs. If you see big RVs parking on the street, those are a dead giveaway. Everybody knows if they see an RV, there's somebody living in it. You're not really being stealthy when you're in an RV. And so, feel free to park anywhere you see an RV, and it's probably not going to be an issue. Going back to the chat, you ever park in industrial lots? Mine is plain enough. I spent a night next to some bulldozers. Oh, how cool. Journey with Nicole, hello. I see you there. Thanks for coming into the live stream. I appreciate you. Appreciate you being here. Nicole watched my Burning Man video, and she said she is inspired to attend next year, and so I hope she does. I'd love to meet Nicole at Burning Man. And I was talking with Mark from Wanderbox, and he was saying we should put together a camp for nomads. So we might have our own nomad van life, box truck, bus life camp next year at the Burn, and I think that would be super fun for a lot of us in rigs to circle up and just have a good time. Going back to the chat, do I ever park in industrial lots? Yes, I do, absolutely. I did one in Marfa, Texas. It wasn't really industrial, but you know what it was? It was like a city. It was the City of Marfa Public Works parking lot. And so it was like a gravel parking lot, and they had a little public works building, and then they had a bunch of like tractors, and then some like just public work, the white pickups. And so I parked right next to him. And, my thought process was, first of all, it was a weekend. So I know on the weekends, it was a weekend night. It was either Friday night or Saturday night. So I know the public works department is closed on the weekends. So nobody is going to be coming in to bother me or check on me or kick me out. And then my second thought process was, well, this is a city parking lot. There were no signs that said no parking, and it's city property. So I feel like it's government property. I'm a taxpayer. I'm part of the community. So in my mind, I could kind of work out that there really shouldn't be any reason that I can't park there. I mean, of course, they're not going to advertise it and they might not encourage it, but I thought I'm probably not going to get in trouble. Worst case scenario is just they would ask me to move. And I stayed there overnight and I had no problems. Let's hop back to the chat. Samantha, the trippy traveler. Hello. She says, "Hey, Brad, it was so nice meeting you. Thanks again for helping me with my system. Glad you checked out Alviso Park. It's a cool place." Yes, Samantha, hello. Happy to have you in the live stream. I met Samantha at Tinyfest. She is a nomad, I think a new nomad. I think she's relatively new, and she lives in a Chevy Astro. So she's got the Astro van converted out, and she was having an issue, and it turns out like all of her interior lights and some of her other stuff was not functioning, and it turns out she just had a broken ground connection and a blown fuse. So I repaired her ground, put in a new fuse, and she is up and running. Diana Saylor wants to know where I got my blackout curtain. I got it on Amazon, Miss Diana Saylor. I just typed in, let's see, orders. Let's see if it'll pop up right here. This is what I got. White blackout curtains for the bedroom. And so this stuff's pretty cool. It's I got white because it matches my interior. So when the curtain's down, it just looks like the white walls. But it's like dual layers. So it's white on one side, and then the other side is like this gray metallic piece. So there's really, here we go. Here's kind of an example. It's multi-layer fabric. It's got a silver coating that reflects heat as well as light. So I did a test. I put the curtains down. I went outside in the middle of the night, turned on all the lights inside, and you could not see any light on the outside of the vehicle. No light escaped through the curtains. So this stuff's really good. It's only 20 bucks for a roll of it. You can get different sizes depending on, what you need, but it's super affordable. And then you can just cut it to size and kind of hang it up in the window. And then I just roll it up, during the day when I don't need it, and then roll it down at night. So a super affordable option for getting blackout curtains on Amazon and doing a little DIY. In the chat, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Kwong, I think the last name is pronounced Win. I think you pronounced that Win. Mr. Win. Also planning on going. Happy to hear it. I would love to see you at Burning Man. Super Dave. Any links to cheaper 24-volt batteries? Super Dave, the 24-volt batteries are not as cheap as the 12-volt batteries, and I think it's just, yes, it's Win. Awesome. Happy I nailed that. I've come across quite a few folks with that last name, and so I think I remember it being pronounced Win. I'm glad I nailed it. Yeah, Super Dave, as far as the batteries go, it's just supply and demand, and 12-volt batteries are a lot more common because RVs use 12-volt, and a lot of, traditional van life conversions use 12-volt, and so they just produce a lot more 12-volt battery banks. And so those are the ones you can get on super blowout deals. You can find, like those 280 amp hour 12-volt batteries for like, I don't know, 500 bucks or something, which is a pretty good score. The 24 volts just aren't as cheap. I still think it's a better idea to do a 24 volt if you're doing a 24 volt bank, but if you want the low priced option, there's no shame in doing 12-volt batteries connected in series to achieve a 24-volt bank. Outdoors Dreadhead in the chat, he says, let's see, let me hop out of the street view, go back to the maps. Here we are. Okay, that's a little more pleasing. Outdoors Dreadhead says, so far the only place I've stayed, friends' driveways and Cracker Barrel. Okay, I hear that. Yeah, I know Cracker Barrel is pretty van life friendly. There's just so many different places you can stay. And the thing is, what I tell anybody is you just got to get out and do it. And once you've tried it a few times, you will you'll figure it out. It'll make sense. And then you'll be able to find spots pretty easily. I mean, I'm at the point now where I don't even sweat. I go anywhere I want to go. I pull out Google Maps satellite, and within 5 minutes, I found a place to stay the night. It's really not that difficult. Anywhere. I mean, San Diego. I was up in San Francisco. When I came in from Burning Man, I came through San Francisco and I found street parking in San Francisco, one of the most expensive zip codes in the country. I went right to the industrial and I had no problem finding parking. So it's really not difficult once you get the hang of it. Going back to the chat, John C says, did you come across anyone 55 plus at Burning Man? Yes, John C, I did. There was quite a few older folks at Burning Man. I would say the majority of people at Burning Man, well, when I was out at night, like doing all the activities, I would say the majority is going to be like mid 20s to mid 30s. That's like the majority. But also, those are kind of the younger folks that were out partying and up late at night. So that might be kind of, not a very fair sample size. But I did see a lot of 55 plus people. There were camps, there were entire camps that were dedicated to just older folks. And then, yeah, I saw plenty of them out on the playa exploring. So, yeah, very cool. Everyone that I met at Burning Man was super cool. I didn't come across any really jerks or anything. So, yeah, lots of cool 55 plus. TX Hemi says, I stayed at a city government parking lot in my pickup in Freeport, Texas after Hurricane Beryl. I stayed there for 9 nights total. The cops stopped by the first morning just to talk. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, too, is like if you're in a natural disaster, then, everybody's going to be a little more lenient, right? Like law enforcement is just going to be happy you're safe. And they understand people got displaced, homes got destroyed. And so after a hurricane, there's probably a lot more people living in vehicles. And so they're going to be pretty cool with it. So I wouldn't be surprised that they allowed you to do that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. In my mind, it's like, why can't I stay in a government parking lot overnight? Like, I pay taxes. All the government buildings are funded by taxpayers. So in my mind, I own a little piece of every government parking lot. Dustin says some of the cheap batteries have trash BMS. Yes, Dustin, I agree. So what I recommend, on the batteries is I would watch a Will Prowse video to confirm whether or not the batteries are any good. That's what's cool is you can go on Amazon, you can find a cheap video, and then so Will Prowse is cool because he's really, really smart about like the mechanics and the components of batteries, and he does the teardowns, like the battery teardowns. And so I don't know if you saw what I did there, but I went to Will Prowse's channel and then I hit this little search button right here, and then you can type in whatever battery you're thinking about buying. So I typed in eco-worthy, and then you can scroll down his videos. Let's see if he tests those big 280 amp hour batteries. I don't see it. Here's one right here. Here's EnjoyBot, right? These are the batteries I have right now in my van. And this was the reason I decided to go with these is I went and I watched his video.
Now,
Oops, hold on.
now would you look at this? We have a DC. Now, personally, I would prefer a server rack battery.
Okay. So the thing is, he'll go over the battery. He'll talk about it. I have the 12 volt 200 amp hour by EnjoyBot. And then what he does is he actually tears the battery apart. So if you look at, let's see if my internet can handle this. It looks like it's slowing down a little bit. If you look at this screenshot right here, he actually rips apart the batteries and then goes through all the components, tests everything, and basically tells you if this Chinese battery is good or not. He'll tell you what BMS is in it, how it's packed, what the quality of the cells are. So if you guys are going to buy a video or a battery on Amazon, I recommend you go to YouTube, search it on Will Prouse's channel, and see if he's done a teardown and get his feedback. And in this case, he said the EnjoyBot battery is a good battery, and that's why I went with it. Journey with Nicole, do you have a Tinyfest video coming out? Yes, Nicole, this Sunday's video will be a compilation of stealth camping, visiting this park here, which is really cool. It's like a salt flat. There's a bunch of salty ponds out here that I went and explored. And then also it includes Tinyfest. Kind of a Tinyfest recap. The one thing I'll mention is that so Tinyfest, they do 2 events a year. They do one in San Diego at the Del Mar Fairgrounds, and then they do one here in San Jose. And the one I went to back in March in Del Mar that I did a live stream of and then a full video, that one is very much geared towards nomads. There's a whole bunch of like nomads staying the night, touring their vehicle. Was much smaller. There were only like about 6, maybe about 8 nomads there, instead of like at Del Mar there were probably 30 nomads. So it was much smaller, and they didn't really have any van builders there or nomad related vendors. So I still did a tour and showed off some of the tiny homes that were really cool, and I did tour a couple rigs. So yeah, it was still a good event, but it definitely, I probably wouldn't recommend it to a nomad unless you happen to be in the area. Like if you happen to be there and you want to swing by, cool, but I definitely wouldn't recommend like making it a destination because there just wasn't much going on for us. Okay, going back to the chat, Dylan says they publish a Burning Man census. Oh, there you go. So for John C., you can check out the Burning Man census and see what the age range was of all the attendees. Mr. Wynn says, Pete me driving to natural disasters to park haphazardly. Right? Yeah, that'd be pretty funny if you were like a nomad storm chaser or something, right? You could just drive, follow the storms, and then stay for free in the devastated towns. TX Hemi says, I'm an insurance adjuster. Preach it. Oh, wow. Insurance adjuster in the house. So I'm curious, TX Hemi, are you living in a vehicle? And if not, do you plan to live in a vehicle? And if so, are you able to do your job as an insurance adjuster while living in a vehicle? Because that would be super interesting. That'd be a good job that people wouldn't necessarily think about, that would allow you to be a nomad. Although I would assume as an adjuster, you probably have like a designated service area. And so you probably can't really travel too far outside of that service area. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can. I'm curious. Matt AK, Will's channel is gold for battery and solar info. I agree. Will is really, really knowledgeable. He knows a lot more than me. A lot more. So if you guys ever have questions on stuff, definitely you can check out Will's channel. And anything he says is pretty much going to be guaranteed to be the truth. Outdoors Dreadhead, but I am still building my rig out. I seen him. Okay, so Let's see what's going on. We got a few minutes left here on the live stream. I was thinking what I might do is just go ahead and do a live um, stealth camp discovery. So try to find a spot uh, just randomly that would be good to stealth camp. Do you guys have any suggestions of areas that you would like to see me find a stealth camping spot in? TX Hemi says just bought a Freightliner MT45. Oh wow, he's got the serious rig MT45. Happy to hear it, man. Yeah, that's a cool rig. Probably a lot of space in that, depending what what type of box it's on. You might have like the big. I don't know if that's like the big, like the big heavy duty ambulance, or if that's like a tool truck, a retired tool truck, or if that's like some kind of a delivery truck. But either way, Freightliner MT45, that's no joke. Danny Paul Ross, hi from Texas. Hope you get that wheel seal fixed. Thanks, Danny. Yep, I have. So my wheel seal that my mechanic replaced before I went to Burning Man, it went out. And so either the seal was faulty or he might have damaged it during install. So I have to go back, which I have to head south anyway. So as I go through Monrovia in a couple weeks, I will have him replace that bearing, that rear bearing seal, rear hub seal again. Okay, Nomad Man 777 says Houston. Oh, TX Hemi says I used to have a ProMaster, sold it. When chasing cats, you're all over the U.S. Oh, that's cool. So he travels. So that's awesome that you could combine being a nomad with being an insurance adjuster. Happy to hear it. Okay, so yeah, cool. Let's go back and do some. So Houston was the first thing that came in. A lot of people from Texas in the chat. I spent some time in Texas. There's definitely a big van life community, which kind of surprises me because Texas is so damn hot. I would not want to live in Texas in a vehicle. I did it. I spent one summer in Austin. It was miserable. It was too hot. Okay, Houston, and we're looking for a stealth camping spot. So here we are on Google Maps. We typed in Houston, and so I assume when you say Houston, you mean you want to be right in the middle of Houston. So let's zoom in on it, see what's going on. Here we are, downtown Houston. What do we got? Here's Memorial Park. Like I mentioned, I like to try to be by some nature. So it looks like the closest thing to Houston is this Memorial Park. That's a pretty big park based on what Google's telling me. So let's oh, that's not water. That's like forest or something. Okay, cool. Well, let's find a spot close to this park. So the first thing I do when I'm looking for parking is I look for the big white rooftops. So as we scroll down here, you can see on the right-hand side, these smaller roofs. That is going to be your residential. And then on the left-hand side, all those big white rooftops, that's your commercial, your industrial, your business areas. And that's where I like to park just because it's easy. And for the reasons I explained earlier, there's no residents peeking around, getting up in your business. And so let's go ahead and kind of zoom in and see if we can find something not too far from this park. Let's zoom in right here. Uptown Park. Let's see if the internet will cooperate. Sorry if the speed's a little bit glitchy. I'm running between streaming and then running this Google Maps satellite view. It's pulling a lot of internet right now. So Google Maps is a little bit slow to load. So the first thing I want to do is I want to find a side street that's off of like a main freeway. I don't want to be parked with a bunch of road noise. It's nice if you can to find like a side street that's just one lane in each direction. So here's San Felipe coming off the main highway, so the 610. And then if we look at San Felipe and we zoom in a little bit, we can see this Bancroft Lane. And so Bancroft probably Lane, this is going to be a quiet spot. It's off a 2-lane road. We're down to 1 lane each way. It's just going down. It looks like there's actually a little bit of residential down here. But if we zoom in on the satellite, you can see right here, that might be a van life, or that might be an Amazon delivery truck, but that's like some kind of a Sprinter or a Transit parked on the street. So this would be a good spot to park. I would probably park right here, like maybe in front of this business. And the cool thing about this is because there's residential all over, it's completely logical that you could be visiting or staying the night with one of these people that are in this residential. So I think on the street right here, I think that would be a pretty good spot to stay the night. Let's see what else we got. If we go down a little bit, here's another one right here, West Creek Lane. So this is going to be more like kind of commercial. And so if we look down here, there's a bunch of just parking on the side of the street. So any of this is going to be super easy to park. Here's a box truck right here. That's a box truck. So yeah, any of this is going to be perfect. So pretty simple to stealth camp in Houston, guys. Any city that has a big commercial industrial, it's not going to be a problem. Go up here, even right here, Briar Hollow. You know, this right here, look at this. You could park right here. Look at this. Look at that. You're right here. You're next to a little park. There's no houses there. Over here, there's like an apartment, but there's a little grassy area in between. And so you could totally just stay the night right here, have a nice little grass patch. If you have a dog, you could let your dog run. Something like that looks really nice. Right on Briar Hollow Place and Briar Hollow Lane in Houston. Look at that. Easy peasy. Super easy, guys. Let's go back to the chat. Journey with Nicole. Ocean Beach stealth camping. Yes, I have covered stealth camping in Ocean Beach, but I will show you again what's a good spot. Shadow Reaper, what's good? Hello, happy to see you. Fiesta Island was more bumpy than I imagined. Yo, Fiesta Island is pothole city. Super bumpy. TX Hemi says that his Freightliner MT45 is an 18-foot big box bread truck. Awesome, man. That's going to be plenty of room, heavy-duty chassis. You got the big turbo diesel. That's going to be a fun rig. I'm excited for you. Probably tall ceiling. Hell yeah. Happy to hear it. Danny Paul Ross, I'm over close to Shreveport, Louisiana, 45 minutes, 60 minutes from Texas. Diana Saylor, I only go to Texas to see my cousin and then DFW and make Texas my domicile. Texas is a good domicile because they do not have state income tax. So you'll save some money staying there. Tommy Lou, stealth watching from my top secret plain sight inconspicuous van. Happy to hear it, Tommy. TX Hemi says, don't go to the west side of the 610. They are a prick around the Galleria. Okay. TX Hemi says, don't go to the west of the 610. Well, we're in luck. I happen to be on the right side of the 610. No problem. John C., I went on the U-Haul website and the box truck is no longer listed. I think it was sold. Yep, sounds like it might have been sold, John C. Keep your eyes open, buddy. Something else will come up. Drew says stealth camping has become more prevalent because of the cost of housing in California. I agree. More and more people are stealth camping. Let's go to Ocean Beach for Nicole, and I will show her my favorite camp spot. Let me reload the page. We lost all of our navigation buttons. Okay, here we go. Ocean Beach, San Diego. Sorry guys, my nose is like itchy, like on the inside of my nose, so I keep like trying to scratch it. I know it looks weird. It's not a booger, it's an itchy nose. Okay, so I assume Nicole's talking about Ocean Beach, San Diego. Is that what you're asking about, Nicole? They also have an Ocean Beach, San Francisco. Please clarify. And then we will go and take a look at Pine Mountain, Georgia for Dreadhead. Okay, Ocean Beach. So if we zoom in on the screen here, you can see this red. Let me make sure you guys can see. Let me check what you can see. Yep, you can see that. Okay, this little red line, that's Ocean Beach, San Diego. This is an awesome spot to hang out during the day. So this parking lot right here is massive. There's plenty of parking. As long as you get there on the weekend before 9 a.m., you'll have no problem. And on a weekday, like before 1 or 2 o'clock, you'll have no problem finding a parking spot. And what's cool, look at this. They have huge double parking spaces in the middle, so you can park an RV. Here's a full-size RV taking up a couple spaces. Here's a big extended Sprinter. And so I stayed here many, many, many days this summer. And what I would do is I like to park on this side right here. It's a little less crowded, and I like to back in to these spaces right here. So I back in here, and I can look out my window to the left and see the ocean, and I can look out my back door and I see all this beautiful grass. This is my favorite spot to hang out during the day. Additionally, you can hang out down here. This is called Robb Field Courts, and you can park right here during the day. Look, here's an RV right here, and you're backed up to, I think this is the San Diego River right here, but you're backed up to the river, and you can walk all the way down. This little lagoon is super beautiful. You can go walk around in here. This is the dog beach. If you have a dog, this is one of the beaches in San Diego that allows dogs. So you can go out here, let them off leash, let them run around. And also, if you walk down along the south side of Ocean Beach, you can come around right here. And this is like kind of the main shops. So if you want to do shopping, you want to do restaurants, there's a grocery store here. There's all kinds of bars and like tourist stops. You can buy t-shirts and sweatshirts and get a tattoo. Whatever you want to do, you can do it right here on Newport Avenue. There's also some parking right down here, but the parking lot's pretty small. It fills up fast, and it's a little bit sketchy. There's a lot of people, a lot of shady folks hanging out. So I would probably not recommend parking here. Just, I wouldn't do it personally. The parking lot up here is a lot more open and safe. This one right here. So that's where I would recommend going. Oh, and then okay, so this is a spot to hang out during the day. Now, in the past, people have spent the night in this parking lot. Me personally, I have stayed the night in this parking lot at Robb Field. However, my Nomad friends that are still in San Diego have told me that parking is getting a lot more difficult in San Diego. They have started ticketing people. And so, you know, I told you guys months ago when I started out, I knew it would not last. I knew it wouldn't go forever. Hold on, Nicole. I'm going to show you where to stay the night. That was just where to hang out during the day. I'll show you a night spot. So I told you guys, I knew it wouldn't last forever. I mean, we were getting away with murder. We were parking in this huge ass parking lot right next to SeaWorld. This parking lot right here. There was like 20 of us parked out in huge buses and box trucks. It was crazy. We were staying the night in these parking lots along the beach. Like these parking lots right here. I stayed many, many nights with King Gamer in this parking lot. It was like so beautiful and so fun, and I just really enjoyed it while it lasted. And King Gamer did too. He enjoyed it while it lasted. But that is basically shut down. They're ticketing people. So basically, from what I'm hearing, it's no longer safe to stay the night at the beaches in Mission Bay. So this whole area here, this is Mission Bay. There's tons of beaches. You can still hang out during the day. It's not a problem. However, staying at night, there's a good chance you will get ticketed. So for Nicole and anybody else watching, I will show you guys where I stay at night, which again, I haven't been there in about a month, but I don't think you're going to have a problem because you're on the city street. And so all these other places we were staying at, they have signs posted that say no overnight parking. They were just not enforcing it. And so we were getting away with, you know, blatantly violating no parking signs. And that's why they're now giving tickets. So this is what you do. Go to San Diego, and it's only a few blocks from downtown Ocean Beach. So the spot you want to go is right up here. It is called Hancock Street. And so again, we're getting back into commercial parking. So you go from Ocean Beach, you go down Point Loma, you follow Point Loma, and then Point Loma turns into Sports Arena Boulevard. And then once you hit Sports Arena Boulevard, you take a left onto Hancock Street and you go down about a quarter mile. And once you pass all the apartment buildings on the right hand side, you will start to see commercial businesses, and you will see vehicles parked like vans and buses. And if we zoom in here, you can see there's an RV right here. There is a semi truck right here. And so basically, you can park anywhere that you find open from this corner all the way down Hancock Street. And then as Hancock Street turns into Kurt Street, you can also park all the way down Kurt Street. So all the way here. And you can see in Google Maps, there's an RV, here's a semi truck. So basically, this whole corner right here, there's no signs that indicate no overnight parking. And a lot of semi trucks and other commercial vehicles do stay there overnight. So feel free, Nicole, you can park right here. And the great news is it's only about 3 miles from Ocean Beach. So for a matter of about a week, I spent every night on Hancock Street. And then during the day, I'd get up first thing, 8 a.m., drive over to Ocean Beach, get a good parking spot here at the parking lot, and then spend the day hanging out. Walk to the beach, walk over to the cafes, get coffee, do some shopping. It's a really cool little nomad routine, and you don't spend much gas, and you're just driving 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening. Super, super easy. So that's my recommendation for you guys. That's the best spot that I've found. And so that's what I'll recommend for Ocean Beach. I hope that helps. Okay, let's go back to the chat. What was I going to do? Dreadhead. Oh, Nicole, I see the super chat. Thank you so much, Nicole. I appreciate you. I hope this content helps you out. My goal is just to help share information and make this van life, box truck life, nomad life as successful as it can be for anybody that watches me. And so every little bit you can do helps. It's not cheap to drive this big box truck around. So I appreciate it. That $4.99 will go right into the gas tank. Okay, looking at Dreadhead. Dreadhead wants help in Pine Mountain, Georgia. Let's check it out. Going back to the chat, Tania says you make it all sound easy. That's the reason I do these videos. I'm telling you guys, it's literally that easy. I mean, I've been doing this for 6 years, so I've kind of picked this up over 6 years of traveling and stealth camping, but I'm sharing you guys, these are the secrets. This is how easy it is. All you need is Google Maps satellite view and a little bit of tips that I gave out today. Look for industrial, look for commercial, look at the signs on the street, make sure there's no parking signs, and you're probably going to be fine. And you can do it anywhere. So I hope that you guys can watch this video and then you can apply this to your own life, your own stealth camping, wherever you're going to be at. So let's do another live stealth camp. Pine Mountain, Georgia for Dreadhead. Pine Mountain, M-O-U-N, Mountain, Georgia. Never been to Georgia. I hear it's beautiful. The Blue Mountains, specifically, I've heard are beautiful, and I would be interested to visit the Blue Mountains. I think, who sings about that? I think it's, is that John Denver? Take me home, West Virginia, Mountain Mama. I think that's John Denver. I think he's singing about the Blue Mountains, which I believe extend into Georgia. Diana Saylor, thank you for another great live chat. So informational. Thank you, Diana. I appreciate you for being here. Now, okay, we're going to roll into stealth camping in Pine Mountain, Georgia. Is this it? I guess this is it. Yeah, Pine Mountain. Okay. So this is definitely a smaller town. Another thing I wanted to say, guys, is all the tips I've given so far have been basically for being in big cities. If you guys are in rural stuff, like just looking at Georgia, it looks pretty rural. It's way easier. Um, when I was in Arkansas, I went to Arkansas a couple years ago in my previous box truck, and stealth camping was so easy because they have like a lot of just like dirt country roads, forest roads, hunting roads. And so I was driving one night, middle of the night, pitch black, and I was getting tired, and I just pulled off on the next dirt road that was ahead of me, and it was just some forest road, and I pulled down like a quarter mile, and there was a little pullout where people park for hunting or whatever, and I just stayed right there. Super, super easy. So Georgia, I'm thinking it might be a little bit similar. So let's see what we got going on. Okay, so let's start with the city. So in the main town of Pine Mountain, pretty small town. Zoom in. Okay, I already found a place. Guys, it's too easy. Okay, so here's what we're doing. We're in Pine Mountain. We're zooming in. This is going to be city. This reminds me of kind of a small Texas city. But basically, now when we're in a city, what we're looking for is or in like a kind of a more of a residential, smaller town. What we're looking for is a parking lot on the street that is not directly in front of a residence. And the reason I say that is if people see a strange vehicle in front of their residence, they're naturally going to be kind of protective. And so they're going to be keeping an eye out for you. They might bother you. If it's a single woman, they might call the police on you. So it's best to just avoid parking directly in front of someone's residence because we just want to come in, do our business, and leave and have the highest probability of success. So the highest probability of success is to find a spot not directly in front of somebody's house. So look, Pine Mountain, we're right off this main street right here. We turn down West Harris Street, and look, right here, Hardy Avenue. So right here, there's this big lot. I think it's probably part of this person's residence, but you could park across from these houses on this like side here, and there's nobody. I mean, that seems fine to me. Same with right over here. Let's see if we can do the street view. Let's look right here on the map, see what it looks like. Okay, so this, you can't park there because there's no place to park. See how it dips down? So that's no good. And that's why it's nice to have the street view. Let's check over here. Let's check right here, see what that looks like. Okay, so this across from residences. Okay, yeah, so looking at this again, I would not park here. That looks out of place. So we don't want to do that. So let's go back to the drawing board and see what else we can come up with. Let's see. And that's something to consider too, is yeah, some of these smaller towns might not have your traditional parking. How about this? What's by the church? Let's take a look by the church here. Church. Okay. Not really anything there either. Okay, let's go back. See what else we got. Playground. Lafayette Drive. Okay, this might be a little more challenging than I initially thought. The reason is because they don't have, like, the roads just have the grass right next to them. It's not really like a parking lot. Let's see if we go closer into town. Let's look at this street here. How does this look? No, this again, no street parking. Okay, let's try. What about Cherry Street? Let's see how this looks. Pine Mountain, Georgia. Give me a little bit of a challenge. Oh, there's a car wash. Okay, yeah, so this is interesting. First time I've ran into this. This is a little bit different. You're gonna have to be a little more tricky. So in this case, you're gonna want to be kind of in the city where you have street parking. So let's try McDougald Avenue. This looks pretty good. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is a perfect parking spot right here. So if we look at it, there is residence. I don't like to be right across from somebody's house. So what I would probably do is I would try to park like maybe down here where you're like kind of in between residences. You're not directly in front of the house. But right here on the side, I don't see any no parking signs. So as long as there's no signage, you should be good. And my thought too is in small town like this, small town Georgia, there's probably less people doing this kind of stuff, and it's probably going to be easier. Um, Here's another good spot right here, right next to this building. There's no posted signage. You're right next to commercial. You are across from somebody's house, but I think that's acceptable. So this looks good to me, McDougal. As we head down a little bit, really any of this is going to be good. Uh, right here, we're getting more into the city. So yeah, lots of good stuff here in Pine Mountain. Let's see if we can kind of switch it up a little bit. Haha, Outdoors Dreadhead says, yup. So he was thinking the exact same thing. Woody says, right in the church parking lot. Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't hesitate to sleep in a church. So here's the thing about sleeping in private parking lots versus public streets. When you're sleeping on a public street or in a public parking lot, like a parking lot of a park, of a city building, law enforcement has jurisdiction of all of that because it's public. So, um, sunrise is looking pretty right now. So, because you're in on public land, the cop can come anytime and check on you, check up on you, and tell you to leave. If you're on private property, police officers cannot come approach you unless they visually see a crime happening or the property owner calls them and gives them permission to trespass onto their property. So, for that given reason, that's why I like to stay in like shopping center parking lots because police are not really allowed to go on shopping center parking lots unless they've been called to. Also, churches. So, you could stay in a church parking lot, and unless the pastor of the church knows you're there and calls police, they're not going to be able to come bother you. So I think a church is a safe spot. And also, just by definition, churches are kind of supposed to be helpful and, they want to take care of the community and, help people out. So in general, I feel like even if a church, like if a pastor came by and saw you there and confronted you, they would probably let you stay the night. So I wouldn't hesitate to stay in a church parking lot. And then, like I said, also shopping centers. So let's take a look. Now, Pine Mountain is tough because it's really small. So there's no really big shopping centers, but let's see what we can find. So even right here, like this little corner shopping center, um, especially if there's a 24-hour building, there's not. The corner store closes. Man, that's a small town when the corner store closes. Um, But the thing too is when it's small town, the cops are not as on top of stuff. So I wouldn't hesitate to park in this parking lot overnight because again, the cops aren't really going to bother you unless they're called. I wouldn't hesitate to stay the night there. Um, Going up here in Pine Mountain, um, I wouldn't hesitate to stay at the church. Most of these parking lots are pretty small. I would honestly just do street parking and I would just rotate. Being in a town this small, if you're there for multiple nights, you're gonna be on the police radar anyway, just because they're gonna recognize your vehicle because chances are they're gonna drive past you. But, also too, it doesn't necessarily mean they're gonna bother you either. Let's look at Cherry Street really quick. Okay, Cherry Street, again, there's not a good curb to park on, so I would avoid that. So we covered a couple good spots in Pine Mountain, Georgia. It's definitely a little more limited, but my thoughts would be, why are you van lifing here? I mean, unless you have a job here and you have to stay here to work, I couldn't imagine you would be spending any significant amount of time here because it's such a small town. It's like, what are you doing? Um, So let's look and see if we can find. I was talking earlier about like forest roads and hunting roads and stuff. Let's see if we can find anything. Here's okay, Davis Lake Road. So this is what I'm talking about. Like this is going to be some kind of government maintained road, and there might be pullouts along the way. Let's see. Nothing there that's flat, but I would drive down Davis Lake and I would look for any kind of a clearing with a pullout that you could just tuck down into, or especially any type of road that shoots off of it. Like, what's this? That's some kind of maybe a forest access. I don't think so. Right here, this looks pretty good. I think you could stay the night here. Let's check this out. Yep. So here's a little pullout off Davis Lake. So, you know, if it's the evening and you're looking for a spot a little bit out of town, I think you could probably pull out like right here. You could probably stay the night right there. This looks like it might be a residence. So, you know, I wouldn't probably spend a ton of time there, but I think you could stay the night there. And if we go up inside, yeah, these are residences. So you want to be careful you're not on somebody's land, especially in places where they're open with guns. You don't want to get caught slipping up on somebody's land. Can we see this? No, that's not. This is interesting. Max Scott Road. There's a road that goes through and then there's a little clearing. So that might be a spot as well. So anyway, you can do it. There's a couple spots we found in Pine Mountain. Definitely not as simple as some of the other spots. Let's go back and check in with the chat. Mr. Wynn, when I'm going rural, I am basically looking for where semis are parked. Yep. Anywhere there's truck parking off the highways, no sweat. Outdoors Dreadhead, I'm not going to think twice about the church parking lot. I'm driving a church bus. Oh, there you go, bro. Yeah, if you're in a church bus, dude, 100%. Another thing I was mentioning is you guys, you can also stay the night in mechanic parking lots because, you know, when you have a vehicle that you need to have worked on, it's pretty common practice that you drop it off in the mechanic's parking lot the night before, and then you go home and then they work on your vehicle the next morning. So it's very common practice that multiple strange vehicles, even out-of-state vehicles, would be in a mechanic's parking lot. And it's private property, so the cops won't hassle you. They're not even going to think twice about it. The only thing I would say is if it's a small parking lot, I would try to leave kind of first thing in the morning because you don't want to be taking your time there at 9, 10 a.m. and the mechanic guy comes in and he thinks that your vehicle has been dropped off for him to work at, and then he's like trying to get in, knocking, trying to figure out what's going on. So if you are going to stay in a mechanic parking lot, I would leave probably first thing in the morning. Woody says he is Woody says you can see his bus on Google Maps. Let's check it out. 4960 West Progress Drive. Let's check it out. Hold on, I gotta reload here. For some reason, Google Maps glitches out sometimes. Let's see if we can find Woody. See what he's working with. 4960 West Progress Drive, Michigan. So that takes us, what is this? UACJ Whitehall Progress Plant. That must be, is that where you work at, Woody? That's a big commercial. I don't see necessarily a rig, but you could be there. Are you on the street view? Maybe Woody's on the street view. Let's see what we got. I don't see it. But maybe this box truck, is that you, Woody? That big box truck up there? Anyway, this would be a good spot to stay the night. Off in this industrial park. You could park right on the curb there. There's no cops coming down. Super easy parking. On the street in my bus. Google that. Woody. Oh, you're parked there tonight. Okay, I see what you're saying. You're not on the photos, but you're there tonight. Cool. Woody in Michigan. Happy to hear it, man. It looks like a nice spot, lots of greenery. Okay, cool. Yeah, so look where Woody's parked. He's just a few miles off the lake there and also off of Marquette Lake. So that's a pretty good little stealth camping spot. Super easy. No one's going to hassle you. I like it. Oh, yeah, I'm here right now. Awesome. Dreadhead says I like hiking there. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, they're in Georgia. I feel that. Hell yeah, man. Well, I hope this helps you find some spots. Woody, no, I'm on my way to Arizona from Quebec. I am parked in Progress Road, but you won't find me on the street view. Gotcha. Okay. Sometimes people have their vehicles on the street view, so that's why I was curious. Cool. Okay, well, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. We've been going for an hour or over an hour tonight. We started at 6. It's 7:30 almost. 90 minutes of information. So I hope this helps you guys out when you're finding stealth camping spots. This live chat will be available in my live streams history. So if you guys want to come back and watch the information tonight, go to my channel, click on videos, click on lives, and you can review all the information we covered here. I will be posting a video Sunday, which will be a recap of Tinyfest, as well as some more stealth camping here in California. And I will be going live next Wednesday, same time, 6 p.m. Pacific. And I will be traveling again. Who knows where I'll be? Tune in next Wednesday. I appreciate you guys being here, and I will look forward to seeing you next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Nomad Brad, signing out. Good night, everybody.